Home sales in the 2025 spring buying season. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So I wanted to cover this the home sales market right now this year, the spring buying season, which happens every year. Generally, March, April, and May of every year, there's a spike in home sales. It's called the spring buying season. And you know, the economy is having a little bit of turbulence right now, so I thought I would cover this because it sort of reflects what's going on in the economy to some degree. But this, I'll warn you in advance, this is a bit of a complicated picture for what's going on with the home sales market. So I wanted to explain it. So the spring buying season this year, 2025, is the lowest number of sales in about 16 years, since 2009, which was the great financial crisis. Now, if you remember, or even if you don't remember, in 2009, the great financial crisis, there was a recession, a pretty deep recession. The Federal Reserve lowered interest rates to near zero and kept them that low for about a decade, and people got used to low interest rates. So the great financial crisis in 2009 had very low home sales in the spring buying season because of the recession, and we're back there right now with those numbers, very low, of sort of a poor spring buying season this year. And people wonder, is renting a better option? You know, for some people, the answer is yes, because it's more affordable right now at this point in time. Renting, the monthly rental payments are lower than mortgage payments. And also, career mobility. If you're earlier in your career and you're not sure where things are going, renting is a better choice than owning, because if you need to pull up stakes and move, it's much easier if you're a renter than if you're an owner. So there is a trend over the last couple of years of the spring buying season being sort of down. 2024 was a decline from prior years, fewer home sales than expected last year's spring buying season. This year, even worse. It's the worst it's been since 2009, in 16 years. And not all people really want to rent. Some do, but some people would like to buy. So let's talk about some of the factors that are affecting home sales. Some of the explanation for why this is the worst buying season since 2009. Home affordability is kind of poor right now. Home sales are low. Home affordability, you know, homes are not cheap. Homes are historically sort of expensive. Now, there is a supply and demand issue with how many homes are available for sale. When the supply of homes is low, and it is right now for a reason I'll go into in a couple seconds, when the supply is low, prices tend to rise because more people want that asset and there's fewer available. So the numbers, normally about 40% of home sales go to first-time buyers. People who are younger, not long out of college, starting to get established in the career, maybe starting a family. About 40% of home sales normally go to first-time buyers. Right now, it's only 32%. So it has dropped 8 percentage points. The number of first-time home buyers has dropped. And if you think about first-time home buyers, they're usually not as well-to-do as someone more established in their career. So why is home affordability in such a bad spot right now? Why are homes relatively expensive historically? Why is it that only 32% of homes are being sold to first-time home buyers? Normally it's 40%. So there is a lower inventory of pre-existing homes. There's a lower inventory of pre-existing homes because for the last decade, over a decade actually, interest rates dropped. Right after the great financial crisis, the Fed lowered interest rates to near zero. There are a lot of people who own homes and they have mortgages of 2.5% to 3%. Those people are not going to sell their home because they'll lose their 2.5%, 3% mortgage. And what are the mortgage rates right now? Almost 7%. So these people have sort of got a huge supply of existing homes that are sort of permanently off the market. The supply has been reduced. They do not want to sell those homes because they'll go from a 3% mortgage to a 7% mortgage. The monthly payments would jump significantly. So that's part of the reason when the supply is low, prices tend to rise. So it's hurting affordability. Home affordability is poor. Homes are expensive because all these people are keeping a lot of homes off the market. The median home price is $403,700. So if you want to make a 10% down payment, that's $41,000. A 20% down payment, which is more normal, $82,000. So those are not small numbers. especially for first-time home buyers. So the drop-off in first-time home buyers, a lot of these people, what are they doing? Renting, or they're living with parents. So one thing you can think about in terms of qualifying for a home is at least 20% down, or 30%, 35% down if you can manage that, because it reduces the monthly payment and you can therefore qualify to buy a home. So that's existing homes. Pre-existing homes, a lot of them are being held off the market by people who are not going to sell because they have low mortgage interest rates. By the way, if you're waiting for low interest rates like this to occur again, and a lot of people don't realize this for some reason, it's not going to happen unless there's another great financial crisis, because the only reason mortgage rates got that low was because there was a huge recession. It was a mini depression almost back in 2008, 2009. And that's probably not going to happen because they changed all the rules to make sure that doesn't happen again. So waiting for really low mortgage interest rates, it's very unlikely that we're going to have another great financial crisis that would cause rates to fall like that again. So these homes, they're sort of permanently off the market. They're not going to want to sell those because the mortgage interest rates right now, they seem high at 6.5%, 7%, but historically that's not very high. Okay, so that's pre-existing homes. Okay, what about new homes? New home inventory. New homes are affected by inflation that we have suffered over the past few years. The cost of building a new home, the materials, the lumber, all the materials to build a new home doubled, in some cases doubled in cost. So new homes are not cheap either. So there's a reduction of the supply of existing homes, but new homes, they're not very affordable either. Their affordability is also poor because of the cost of the materials spiked during the inflation years we've had recently. And because of those high prices, home builders are having trouble selling new home inventory, and they have reduced the number of homes they're building, which is restricting supply. So these people with the low mortgages are keeping supply off the market and hurting prices, raising prices. The builders are doing the same thing because they're having trouble selling new homes. New homes are not cheap either. And so we're sort of in a spot where home prices are high, mortgage interest rates are much higher, double what we had for over a decade. And so a lot of people are renting. Not everyone wants to rent. Some people like it. Some people are, probably feel they don't have a choice. But like I said, if you can get to the point where you have 20% down or more, you can qualify to buy a home. If you're in a point in your life where you need to buy, you really want to buy your own place. Focusing on saving enough for a large enough down payment so you can qualify is one, and living frugally is one way to do that. So, and there are first-time homebuyer programs too, although the monthly payments, if you only put down 5% or 10%, the monthly payments are quite high compared to renting. Because right now, compared to buying a home, renting is cheaper in almost everywhere in the country. So I'm not sure what else to say about this. The spring buying season is quite low this year. The economy is not, there's uncertainty in the economy. The job market is affecting people's willingness to, so even if you could qualify for a mortgage, do you really want to if you're concerned about your job prospects? So that's another factor. So it's a complicated story how we got here. The worst spring buying season in 16 years. A lot of factors went into it. High mortgage rates, home prices are high, and the economy is a bit iffy. People are not so confident. So a lot of people are renting who otherwise would not like to. I mean, we know for a fact with this huge drop of the number of first-time buyers, a lot of people are probably renting who would prefer buying. But I want to say something. If you're renting, besides the benefit of being able to pull up stakes for your career mobility, there are other benefits to renting. Number one, you don't have to pay for homeowners insurance. Number two, you don't have to pay for property taxes. Number three, you don't have to pay for maintenance. You can call someone and get things fixed. And there might be a nominal fee of like $50 or something, but renting is a pretty affordable way to go. So there are options besides owning. Owning, especially now with the home affordability, owning is not so easy, right? Now, if you can come up with a large down payment, a large enough down payment, you can get those monthly mortgage payments low, and you can make it work. But if you compare the cost of renting, the monthly rent, to a monthly mortgage with all the additional things, the property taxes and the insurance, you'll probably find that renting is a better option right now, at least for now. So, and again, we're not going to see interest rates that low unless there's another great financial crisis, which is unlikely. So I wish everyone the best of luck. And if you have any questions about this, my wife and I rented for a few years after we graduated college before we felt confident enough in our careers to buy. And in the meantime, we saved up. We saved up so that when it came time to buy, we had a great down payment. If you're a 2-income household, you can do the exact same thing. Save up for 2 or 3 years, bam, buy your first place, you buy a starter home. Be one of the first-time home buyers with a large down payment, and you can make it work. You can have lower monthly payments. You can get it below the cost of renting. So if you have any questions, please post in the comments. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And I really want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.